Some mornings, it feels like the whole world is pressing down on me. As a man in my 30s, the weight isn't just about career deadlines or financial stress. It's the silent judgment of others, the unspoken expectations that creep into every moment. Even reunions or casual gatherings, places meant for laughter and memories, sometimes feel like arenas for boasting accomplishments. And in those moments, all I want is to quietly fade into the background. I've asked myself countless times, am I living for me, or am I just chasing what others expect of me? If you've ever felt the same, maybe it's time to pause, to recalibrate, to find a map that leads you back to yourself. That map exists. It's called Stoicism. This ancient philosophy isn't just words in a dusty book. It's a guide to navigating life with clarity, focus, and peace. Stoicism helps you focus on what you can control, break free from constant comparison, and build the kind of resilience that no social pressure can shake. In this video, I'll share practical Stoic principles you can apply today to lighten that heavy load and reclaim your inner calm. Don't stop watching. Share this message with someone who needs it. That small action might be a lifeline for them. And tell us your story in the comments. Together, we can build a space of courage and connection. Let's start. One small step, one timeless lesson toward freedom. One focus on what you can control. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone else had their life figured out, except you? Maybe it's a class reunion or a gathering of old friends. The air is filled with laughter and warm greetings, but soon the conversation shifts. One by one, achievements are subtly laid on the table. Job titles, promotions, and awards. Director, someone says. Entrepreneur, adds another. And as you listen, doing your best to smile, a quiet thought creeps in. Why do I feel so small? If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. I've been there too. No matter how well I was doing in my own life, I couldn't shake that gnawing sense of inadequacy. But here's the truth. Much of that feeling comes from focusing on what we cannot control. How others live, what they achieve, or how they perceive us. It's exhausting, isn't it? We tried to keep up with the expectations we hadn't set for ourselves. The Stoics, those wise thinkers of the past, knew this all too well. Epictetus once said, "We cannot control the impressions others form about us, and the effort to do so only debases our character." The essence of freedom lies in redirecting our focus to what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. Everything else? It's noise, distracting us from what truly matters. Take a moment to reflect. Think about the last time you felt consumed by someone else's opinion or achievements. What did it do for you? Did it help you grow? Did it bring you peace? Or did it simply drain your energy, leaving you feeling even less in control? When we pour our time and attention into things outside our influence, we lose the opportunity to build a life rooted in strength and clarity. The Stoics remind us that only two things are ever fully within our control: our thoughts and our actions. Nothing else, not the accolades of a peer, not the judgment of a stranger, not even the outcome of our efforts. Imagine the weight that lifts when you stop trying to control what you never could. It's like finally exhaling after holding your breath for too long. But how do we shift our focus in a world that constantly pulls us outward? Start by pausing. When you find yourself overwhelmed, ask a simple question. What here can I actually influence? Separate the external from the internal. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The clarity that comes with this practice is transformative. Next, reframe challenges as opportunities. Let's say you're overlooked for recognition at work. Instead of spiraling into resentment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every obstacle, no matter how frustrating, holds the potential to shape us into stronger, wiser individuals. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This mindset isn't just about resilience. It's about reclaiming agency in moments that feel out of control. And finally, commit to daily choices that align with your values. Focus on the small, steady actions that move you closer to the person you want to be. Whether it's setting aside time for gratitude, choosing kindness in a difficult moment, or simply doing your best with what's in front of you. These choices compound over time, creating a life you're proud of. Imagine now walking into that same reunion, but with a different perspective. Instead of being weighed down by comparison, you focus on the joy of reconnecting, the shared memories, and the stories that truly matter. You leave the room not diminished, but whole, because you've let go of trying to control the uncontrollable. At the end of the day, life isn't about chasing someone else's version of success. It's about honoring your own journey, building one thoughtful choice at a time. So as you navigate your path, remember this. Peace isn't found in controlling the world. It's found in mastering your own. And that, my friend, is something no one can take away from you. Learn to say no. There comes a time in everyone's life when the weight of expectations becomes unbearable. It feels like the world constantly asks for more, and even more. Your time, your energy, your compliance. Have you ever felt that? The silent pressure to say yes, even when every part of you is screaming no? You're not alone. But what if I told you that saying no isn't a rejection of others? It's an act of protecting yourself and honoring your true priorities. I remember a time when I felt torn between commitments. Invitations to events I didn't want to attend, requests for help I didn't have the energy to give, and deadlines I couldn't possibly meet. Every yes came with a price: my peace, my focus, my well-being. Yet, I kept agreeing, fearing I'd disappoint others. Over time, I realized the irony. In trying to please everyone, I was losing myself. The Stoics teach us the power of boundaries. Epictetus once said, "He who is not master of himself is a slave." And what is self-mastery if not the ability to guard your time, energy, and values against the relentless demands of the world? Saying no isn't selfish, it's essential. It allows you to invest in what truly matters and frees you from the invisible chains of obligation. Think about this. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you're saying no to something that does. Imagine a life where your choices are deliberate, where your yes carries meaning because you've learned the strength of a well-placed no. That life isn't just possible, it's within reach. Learning to say no starts with clarity. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? When you know your values and goals, it becomes easier to recognize what deserves your time and what doesn't. For instance, imagine being asked to join a project that sounds exciting but conflicts with your current priorities. Before agreeing, pause. Consider whether this commitment serves your purpose or merely distracts you from it. One day, I spoke to someone who had always been the dependable one, the person everyone turned to for help. They were proud of their ability to support others, but admitted they felt drained, constantly falling behind on their own dreams. When they began practicing the art of saying no, they feared rejection or judgment. But over time, they found something unexpected: respect. People valued their honesty and admired their ability to set boundaries. More importantly, they rediscovered a sense of purpose and joy. Saying no is also an exercise in courage. It requires facing the discomfort of potentially disappointing others. But as Seneca said, you act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire. To embrace the finite nature of your energy and time is to act wisely. You cannot be everything to everyone, and you shouldn't try to be. To begin, start small. Decline a minor request that doesn't align with your priorities. Practice saying no politely but firmly. You might say, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I won't be able to commit to this right now." Over time, you'll find that each no strengthens your resolve and creates space for the things that truly matter. This practice doesn't just free you from obligations. It opens doors to deeper connections and opportunities. By focusing on the commitments that align with your purpose, you bring your best self to every situation. People notice that, and your relationships grow stronger because of it. Remember, life is not a contest to meet every expectation or fulfill every request. It's a journey to live authentically and meaningfully. Saying no isn't about shutting doors. It's about choosing the right ones to walk through. As you reflect on your own life, ask yourself, what am I saying yes to that's holding me back from what truly matters? The answer might surprise you, and the solution is simpler than you think. Start with one small no today and watch how your world begins to change. 3. Avoid comparing yourself to others. Comparison often begins before we even realize it. For many of us, it starts in childhood, planted by well-meaning but misguided expectations. Parents, teachers, or peers compare us to siblings, friends, or classmates. For some, this becomes a harmless nudge to strive harder. But for others, it leaves an invisible scar, an endless cycle of measuring themselves against others. I remember a cousin of mine who grew up constantly being compared to me. He struggled with school while I excelled, and the comparisons were relentless. His parents, likely with good intentions, often highlighted my achievements in an attempt to motivate him. But instead of encouragement, it weighed on him like a burden. I would try to comfort him, reminding him that grades don't define a person. But those comparisons haunted him for years. Fast forward to adulthood, and he began to change. Through honest conversations and exposure to ideas rooted in self-worth and resilience, he realized something important. His value was never dependent on being better than someone else. While there were still moments when he caught himself measuring his life against others, he'd learned to pause and shift his perspective. He wasn't perfect, but he was stronger. The Stoics understood the danger of comparison centuries ago. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This reminds us that life isn't about proving ourselves to others. It's about living authentically, guided by our own principles. The only person you need to surpass is who you were yesterday. When you compare yourself to others, you risk losing sight of your unique journey. Every person has their own path, shaped by different challenges, opportunities, and choices. What you see as someone else's success is often just the surface of their story. Beneath it may lie struggles, sacrifices, or battles you'll never know. Marcus Aurelius urged us to look inward. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about your own life. How many times have you scrolled through social media, feeling a pang of envy as you see someone else's highlight reel? Their vacations, their promotions, their seemingly perfect lives. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, why isn't that me? But the truth is, those moments don't define them, just as your challenges don't define you. What matters is how you choose to respond to your circumstances and shape your own path. So how can you break free from comparison? Start by practicing gratitude. Each morning, take a moment to reflect on what you're thankful for: your health, your progress, and the opportunities ahead. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Another strategy is to embrace the idea of personal growth over competition. When you see someone succeed, instead of feeling threatened, use their story as inspiration. What can you learn from them? How can their achievements motivate you to improve? Remember, life is not a race. It's a journey where every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Finally, set boundaries with sources that fuel comparison. If certain people or platforms leave you feeling inadequate, limit your exposure. Spend time in spaces that uplift and energize you. Surround yourself with individuals who value your growth rather than compare it to theirs. As I think back to my cousin, I'm reminded that freedom from comparison doesn't come overnight. It's a choice we make every day. To honor our own progress, to celebrate our unique path, and to let go of the need to measure up to others. He's found a sense of peace, and so can you. The next time you feel that familiar tug of comparison, pause. Remind yourself of your journey, your values, and your goals. You are enough, not because of how you measure against others, but because of the effort and heart you bring to your own life. That is where true fulfillment lies, and in that, you are already victorious. 4. Be silent in the face of unnecessary judgments. As we journey through life, we often encounter opinions and criticisms that offer little value. Have you ever found yourself dwelling on a thoughtless comment or an unwarranted judgment? I believe that as we mature, it's essential to remain silent in the face of things not worth our concern. Why spend precious time on trivial matters that only drain our energy? Instead, we should focus on our priorities, those aspects of life that truly matter. I recall a moment when a friend shared his frustration with me. He had been working tirelessly on a project close to his heart. Yet, despite his dedication, he faced constant criticism from others who neither understood his vision nor appreciated his efforts. Initially, he felt compelled to defend himself, to explain and justify his choices. But each time he engaged, he found himself more stressed and further from his goals. One day, he decided to take a different path. Inspired by the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, he chose silence. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." My friend realized that he couldn't control others' judgments, but he could control his response. By remaining silent, he reclaimed his peace and redirected his focus to what he could control: his work and his attitude. This shift brought about a remarkable change. The unnecessary judgments lost their power over him. He became more productive, his stress diminished, and he found a renewed sense of inner peace. His silence wasn't a sign of weakness, it was a testament to his strength and emotional intelligence. Stoicism teaches us that not every battle is worth fighting. Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By choosing silence, we conserve our mental resilience and protect ourselves from unnecessary stress. We stop giving others the power to disrupt our inner tranquility. Consider your own life. How many times have you been pulled into arguments or felt the need to justify yourself in the face of baseless criticism? Did engaging in those moments serve you, or did they leave you feeling exhausted and distracted from your goals? By being silent, you allow those judgments to pass like clouds, temporary and insignificant. Silence, in this context, is not about suppression, but about conscious choice. It's about recognizing that your energy is better spent on self-improvement and personal growth. It's about building mental resilience and mastering how to stay calm under pressure. When you focus on your priorities, the noise of unnecessary judgments fades into the background. This doesn't mean we should accept disrespect or ignore constructive feedback. Instead, it's about discerning which voices to heed and which to let go. Seneca advised, "If a person doesn't know to which port they sail, no wind is favorable." By knowing our destination, our true priorities, we can navigate through social pressures without being tossed by every passing wind. Next time you face unwarranted criticism, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my time and energy? Does responding align with my priorities? More often than not, you'll find that silence serves you better. By embracing this Stoic approach, you not only protect your inner peace, but also set a powerful example for others. You demonstrate emotional intelligence and self-control, qualities that are increasingly rare and valuable. This practice can improve your stress management and enhance your overall well-being. Remember, life is too short to be weighed down by the unnecessary judgments of others. Your journey is your own, and you have the power to choose where to direct your focus. As you cultivate the habit of being silent in the face of trivial criticisms, you'll find greater freedom and inner peace. In the words of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say." Let your silence be a shield against negativity and a beacon guiding you toward what truly matters. 5. Reduce dependence on external validation. In the quiet moments of our lives, we often find ourselves questioning our worth. We look outward, seeking approval, praise, or even just a nod of recognition to reassure us that we're on the right path. Yet, Stoicism reminds us of a truth we frequently overlook. Our value does not lie in the opinions of others. When we tether our self-worth to external validation, we give others a power they should never hold, the power to dictate how we feel about ourselves. We become vulnerable to every comment, every opinion, and every judgment. A single remark can lift us up or bring us crashing down. Over time, this dependence chips away at our confidence, leaving us at the mercy of forces beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This insight strikes at the heart of our struggle. Why do we value the fleeting approval of others over the enduring pride we can feel in our own progress? Your journey is yours alone. No one else has walked your path, faced your struggles, or fought your battles. Allowing someone who hasn't lived your story to determine your worth is diminishing the immense effort and growth you've achieved. Success is not a fixed destination. It's a series of moments where you choose to rise above challenges, persevere, and keep going, even when the road feels impossibly long. Stoicism urges us to build our sense of worth on internal foundations, on our actions, our character, and our resilience. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. When we free ourselves from the need for external validation, we unlock the ability to celebrate our achievements, no matter how small, with genuine pride. Consider how this might transform your life. Imagine making a choice based not on what others will think, but on what feels right for you. Picture pursuing a goal not for the applause it might bring, but for the fulfillment it offers you. This shift in perspective doesn't just bring peace. It fosters a sense of empowerment that no external opinion can shake. The Stoics also remind us that the opinions of others are often fleeting and unreliable. People see the world through the lens of their own experiences, biases, and insecurities. What they say about you often has more to do with them than with you. Epictetus taught, if you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. If you need a witness, be your own. Becoming independent of external validation doesn't mean ignoring constructive feedback or dismissing others entirely. It means discerning the voices that truly matter, the ones that guide you to grow and improve, from the noise that seeks only to diminish you. It's about creating a space within yourself where your worth is unshaken by the turbulence of external opinions. To reduce your dependence on external validation, start by celebrating your victories privately. Write down your achievements, no matter how small, and acknowledge the effort it took to reach them. Reflect on what you've overcome and how far you've come. This practice builds a quiet, steady confidence that doesn't rely on anyone else's approval. Next, set goals that align with your values rather than societal expectations. When your actions reflect your true self, they bring a deeper sense of fulfillment than any applause ever could. With time, you'll find that living authentically is the greatest reward of all. Finally, remember that every step you take toward your goals is a triumph. Success is not about perfection, but progress. Each moment of growth, no matter how incremental, is worth celebrating. Let that be your source of pride, not the fleeting recognition of others, but the enduring satisfaction of knowing you've chosen to be better than you were yesterday. Your life is your own. Don't let its worth be measured by those who don't understand its depth. Trust in your journey and let the validation you seek come from within. That is where true freedom and fulfillment reside. 6. Practice a simple lifestyle. In a world that constantly demands more success, more possessions, more attention, there's something profoundly liberating about choosing less. Simplicity is not about deprivation. It's about clarity. It's about removing the noise so we can hear what truly matters. I've found this truth through small, intentional acts. On weekends when my schedule allows, I join local cleanup initiatives, helping to clear trash from parks and public spaces. At first glance, it seems like a minor gesture, but every time I roll up my sleeves and contribute to these efforts, I feel a sense of peace and purpose that no material possession or social media like could ever bring. It's a reminder that life's greatest rewards often come from the simplest actions. The Stoics understood the value of simplicity long before our modern distractions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This insight is timeless. True happiness doesn't come from accumulating more, but from appreciating what we already have and focusing on what enriches our lives. To practice a simple lifestyle is to reclaim your time and energy. Imagine what could change if you let go of things that add no real value. Endless scrolling through social media, chasing trends, or cluttering your life with unnecessary possessions. Simplicity isn't about avoiding pleasure. It's about finding joy in the essentials and creating space for what truly matters. Living simply allows us to focus on meaningful pursuits. It might mean dedicating your free time to a cause that resonates with you, or spending an evening disconnected from technology, savoring the presence of loved ones. It's these moments that build a life of substance and depth, rather than one built on fleeting distractions. One of the most powerful ways to simplify is by being mindful of what you consume. Not just food or possessions, but also information and interactions. The constant barrage of news, opinions, and online comparisons can leave us feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. Seneca wisely advised, "If you wish to be loved, love." Simplicity in our relationships and communication fosters genuine connections that nourish our souls. Decluttering our physical space is another meaningful step. The things we own often own us. Look around and ask yourself, do these items serve me, or am I serving them? Letting go of what you no longer need doesn't just free up space in your home, it creates mental clarity and a sense of lightness. Practicing simplicity also means aligning your actions with your values. Instead of chasing what others deem important, ask yourself, what truly matters to me? The answer might surprise you. Often, it's not about achieving extraordinary feats, but living in a way that feels honest and fulfilling. Maybe it's spending more time with family, pursuing a creative passion, or simply enjoying the quiet beauty of a sunrise. Simplicity teaches us that less truly can be more. By reducing the unnecessary, we amplify what's meaningful. We discover that we don't need to fill every moment with activity or every corner of our lives with possessions to feel whole. We become more intentional, more present, and more grateful for what we have. The journey to simplicity doesn't require drastic changes overnight. Start small. Dedicate a weekend to decluttering a single room. Limit your social media use for one day and notice how it feels. Choose one activity that aligns with your values and give it your full attention. Over time, these small steps add up, transforming not just your surroundings, but your perspective. As you embrace simplicity, you'll find a deeper sense of peace and purpose. Life becomes less about impressing others and more about fulfilling your own soul. Remember the words of Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. By practicing a simple lifestyle, you conquer the chaos of modern life and rediscover what it means to truly live. 7. Distance yourself from sources of pressure. In life, there will always be sources of pressure, expectations from others, societal demands, or even the silent voice inside us that whispers, "You're not doing enough." These pressures can feel suffocating, pulling us in every direction but the one we wish to go. Yet the Stoics teach us that while we cannot eliminate all sources of pressure, we can choose how we engage with them. Epictetus wisely observed, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom begins with recognizing that we are not obligated to carry every burden placed upon us. There is power in stepping back, in creating space between ourselves and the things that weigh us down. Sometimes that means distancing yourself from sources of pressure that do not serve your growth or peace. But what about the pressures we cannot simply walk away from? Family expectations, obligations to loved ones, or the ties of deep relationships? Here the answer lies not in avoidance, but in communication. Take the time to express your feelings honestly and respectfully. Let those close to you understand your aspirations and boundaries. More often than not, people respond to honesty with understanding, even if it takes time. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Even in situations where pressures seem inescapable, you can create an inner distance. By reframing how you see these demands, you take control of your perspective. Ask yourself, is this pressure truly about me, or is it a reflection of someone else's fears or desires? This clarity can free you from unnecessary guilt or obligation. Distancing yourself also applies to environments and habits that perpetuate stress. Think of the constant barrage of notifications on your phone, the endless comparisons on social media, or the voices that criticize rather than uplift. These are pressures we can choose to step away from. Limit your exposure to toxic environments, both online and offline. Spend more time in spaces that nurture your soul, where you feel seen, heard, and valued. For some, distancing might mean saying no to commitments that stretch you too thin. For others, it's about choosing carefully whom to surround yourself with. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." Your circle should inspire growth and not impose unnecessary expectations. But distancing yourself isn't always physical. Sometimes, it's about emotional and mental boundaries. You don't need to absorb every negative word or carry the weight of every opinion. Learn to let go. Not every comment deserves a response, and not every expectation requires fulfillment. Silence, as the Stoics teach, is a powerful shield. When you stop reacting to every demand, you reclaim your energy for the things that truly matter. Start small. Identify one source of pressure in your life, a toxic relationship, an overwhelming obligation, or a habit that drains your energy. Take one step to create space. It might be having a difficult conversation, limiting your time in certain environments, or simply reminding yourself that it's okay to prioritize your well-being. Remember, life is not about meeting every expectation. It's about walking your path with purpose and peace. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, said, "Man conquers the world by conquering himself." By distancing yourself from pressures that don't align with your values, you take a powerful step toward mastering your life. It's not about running away. It's about walking forward, stronger, lighter, and with clarity of heart. As we reach the end of this journey, let's reflect on the wisdom we've uncovered together. Life is full of pressures, external expectations, comparisons, judgments, and the constant pull of distractions. Yet, through the timeless philosophy of Stoicism, we are reminded of a profound truth. The key to inner peace lies within us. It is in our choices, our actions, and our ability to focus on what truly matters. We've explored the power of silence in the face of unnecessary judgments, the courage to say no, and the strength to resist the lure of external validation. We've seen how simplicity can transform our lives, and how creating distance from negative pressures allows us to reclaim our energy and purpose. These are not just lessons, they are tools to help you navigate life with resilience, clarity, and freedom. Now I invite you to take these lessons into your life. Start small. Choose one practice and make it your own. Let it guide you toward a deeper sense of self and a stronger connection to what truly matters. And as you do, I encourage you to share your story in the comments below. What pressures have you faced? How have you overcome them? Your experiences could inspire and uplift someone else walking a similar path. Remember, the journey to inner peace begins with a single step. Walk it boldly, guided by the wisdom of those who came before us, and find the strength to live authentically. Your story is yours to write. Make it one of resilience and freedom.